DreamHack Open is brought to you by Corsair, Monster Energy, Nice Cactus, and GGBet.
Come one, come all, it's time to settle into the grand finals of DreamHack Open Winter 2019. Yongshiping has been good to us as CSGO fans and lovers. I mean, it wasn't that long ago that we crowned the very first major winners in this very same place. But we will crown another champion here today, and it's going to be either Tricked or ForZe, the two teams left standing after 3 days of Counter-Strike. I am Connor Gervin, your host all weekend long, and I am joined, of course, by Mathieu and Christine here on the analyst desk. Are you guys ready to get this one going?
I'm very excited. I'm a little bit emotional as well. We've been following these teams all weekend, and it's funny you mentioned the first major. I was playing this major here at DreamHack Winter the first time, and I think the biggest difference between that time and now is how the sub-tier has flourished, right? And these tournaments, they are the reason why. I think we have an amazing circuit now for up-and-coming teams. They have a trophy to aim for. They have an objective in front of them. And this is right here. That's why they're prepared. I think it's amazing.
Sure. We're going to go ahead and bring up some quick highlights as we continue to talk about this upcoming BO3. This is for the first semifinals. Of course, being ForZe.
Ooh, it was amazing.
You're out of here.
Already? Can I just not do the final?
That was amazing. That 1 versus 4 from Jerry. I think that's kind of what put a fork in Godsend. We saw them losing that second map just throughout it. I mean, losing 9 of the last 10 rounds to close. That's one thing we have to give credit to ForZe, right? If we're discussing both of these teams, then I think we give current form to Tricked. Look at the way they dispatched of Crazy. But we give resilience and ability to stay composed to the side of ForZe because they have faced challenges all weekend long, despite, of course, comparing them to Tricked, who it's been easy sailing.
They definitely have, and actually Matthew reminded me in the green room that Tricked also had some trials and tribulations. They also struggled a bit on that first day versus Furia. They were down by quite a large margin, then Furia was starting to claw their way back, and somehow, some way, Tricked were able to close out that match 14-16. So I think it bodes well for both of these teams coming into these grand finals, having faced off such worthy opponents, having to have to claw their way through each map, through each series, and then finally making their way to this grand finals. They both deserve to be here.
Yeah, would you agree with that?
Oh, definitely. I think we have the two best teams of this event, right? In two very different fashion. You have Tricked, who basically disposed of most of their opponents, but Furia, right? That was a close game. And then you have ForZe, who like a boxer, you know, they were hitting and then giving back and then again, and they were fighting and we didn't know what was happening. Clutch against them, clutch for them, 1v1, 1v3. We were losing our voice in the green room. That was a different way, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. They made it to the grand final, and anything is possible. I could throw you 1,000 numbers in favor of Tricked, but ForZe, they play with their hearts.
Let's cue some of those Tricked highlights, because that's the thing is these individuals have been giving us highlights all weekend long.
Oh yeah.
They still have majority of their team up there in the top performers of this weekend. And we expect that sort of performance from Bubsky. We expect that kind of performance from Acor. But where has Roy come from?
That's a good question.
Yeah, he's certainly surprised a lot of us, and we mentioned it earlier today. He's 26 years old. You heard him talking about it in the interview. All of this is very new to him. He's not aware of what it takes to be the esports competitor. A lot of these Counter-Strike players, especially the new ones in Bubsky and the younger up-and-coming players, they grew up in this age with Counter-Strike becoming more and more mainstream, esports becoming more and more mainstream. They have Astralis to look up to see what a perfect Counter-Strike player could be. So I think it's fantastic to see such a mature player coming into the scene and making such a mark and making such a stamp in his first event.
Yeah, it's really cool. I went back and I looked at the last few, like the events that we've had from both of these teams, both ForZe and Tricked, in the last like 6 months or so. And whether these be like online cups, online qualifiers, LAN events, whatever it is, they have, on the side of Trick, consistently found themselves in the top 3 over and over and over again. Even in the ECS week qualifiers, they were 3rd 3 weeks in a row, just on the cusp of getting themselves to a different event this weekend. So now, knowing that we have them here in the Grand Finals, knowing that they're going to be in Seville, the last DreamHack Open stop of the year, they are poised as a team to really throw themselves from what has been the top 30 in the last 3-4 months to into the top 15.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic because if you think about Hunden, and I have played against him like 2 years ago, he would always have a team with a great game plan. His team would always have an idea, but then top team would come and they would pick him apart, say, oh, this player looks nice, I'm going to take him from my team, and then I'm going to leave you with these players. But now, finally, it looks like he has a project around him. He has everything, he has all the pieces together. The map pool seems decent. Strategically speaking, I like what I see. There's talent in the roster as well. They don't only rely on executes. They can make the difference. They can bring in clutches. So after all these efforts, after all these years that Hunden has given to Counter-Strike, now he feels like he has an armor around him. He has the clan with him.
And it's really a testament to their foundation because we mentioned it before. Roy is brand new to this team. He took over Borup's spot just 2 months ago. In DreamHack Summer, they made it to the semifinals. Then now here, they're making it to the grand finals. Just the upward trajectory, you would think with a new 5th, just in a matter of 2 months, that upward trajectory might divot a little bit, but no, they're just continuing to rise up.
I wondered to myself, you take a player like Roy, who, again, didn't really have much going for him prior to Borup leaving. And Borup leaves, he takes that spot, but he has found just as much success. I wondered to myself, how much do we accredit that to him just being able to fit into this system we talk about with Hunden? His ability to create structure and position players properly. We know Acor and we know Bubsky are doing it already. Now Roy, he didn't seem like someone who would have it from the get-go, but he's proven it. He's proven it twice now.
That's when you want to be a fly and you want to be able to just be in the room as they're playing and see how he behaves, right? Because it's obviously a 2-dimensional problem. On one hand, that's the player in itself. That's the way how mature he is, as you said. It feels like it in the interview. I like the answers he gave. So he probably had the right mindset going into the team, which is basically, I'm going to listen to what you tell me. I'm going to assume that you know Counter-Strike better than me, and you will teach me what's up. That is probably his discussion with Hunden. And then you have the team, how they take care of him, how they integrate him, how they take into account what he wants to do. And apparently it seems like it's working, but I haven't seen much. I don't really know how they work as a team, but so far it's working.
Absolutely. I think it's all about that perspective, being a little bit more mature, being 26 years old, taking a step back and understanding these are our strengths, these are our weaknesses, this is how I'm going to bring my value, and this is how I'm going to help my team win. And I think that's great coming from an older player.
Let's shift the conversation, guys. Getting towards this grand final, closer and closer, of course. The map veto. Is this one of those matchups where, I mean, we just talked about Trick versus Crazy. The map pool was a massive talking point. I personally don't feel it's as important with this one.
It's really not. It's really not. The weaknesses aren't as obvious as it was with Crazy.
It's all right. I'll keep listening.
It's not quite as obvious as it was with Crazy. I think for this one, ForZe are going to have to veto Overpass or Dust 2 perhaps, and just because they lost Dust 2 versus Godsent, I don't know if they're still traumatized from that or not, but I think they're gonna have to veto that Overpass first.
I would have already thought that Trick were in a good position in that veto before their semifinal, but the fact that they just said publicly and they proved to us that Vertigo was a trump card for them, that makes it that much more uncomfortable for ForZe. Now, if you force it, do you let Vertigo be? Would you be able to play Vertigo if you have to? I know they've done it. I think what I have seen from them was not that great. So do you allow Vertigo to go through? Do you allow Train to go through? Where Trick has like 80% win rate on Train. How many maps do you need to veto in the first ban?
Yeah, there's no way ForZe can afford to veto that Vertigo first.
So Vertigo is on the cards for Trick. Train is on the card if they want to. I would assume these would be the pick on the side of Trick. Now, if you are ForZe, then Inferno is right there. Inferno is like one of these people in the train station with the hug me or free hug. You know, Inferno is there like free hug. That should be Inferno.
Ready for it.
I would be surprised if it wasn't Inferno.
There we go.
Inferno
and Vertigo. There it is, the punished Vertigo pick.
Yeah, and you know what? You're right. It's a good thing that ForZe do pick up that Inferno. Although that match was very close, if I remember correctly, they won 16-12, and it was really off the back of that A bomb site. Connor, we were watching it from the green room. It was those crossfires. It was the bait and switch, Flit holding one angle, drawing in the attention, and Exit Power just executing them from the arch with that AWP. I think they had some really nice crossfire setups going towards that A site on Inferno.
Really, really nice pieces of two-player setups, right? I know exactly what you're talking about. flit on the barrel of short A site. Exapower gets tagged, runs and hide, and Michaelelli walks into an M4 posted up. But yes, the overpass and nuke ban and the train final. This is setting itself to be a really sick series.
When do we just build a statue for Hunden the God?
Yeah.
How can you make a Vito come into the grand final and have both Vertigo and Train as the 3 maps that you're going to go with? Train is their highest win rate right now. 77% over the past 3 months. They played it 21 times. 21 times in 3 months. They're no stranger to the map, and that's going to be the 3rd map. That is like a dessert. It's like a French torte.
Yeah.
It's delicious.
Now, we did get a chance to catch up with both of these teams prior to the grand finals, so let's see if Big Brain Hunden had anything to say about this matchup.
Well placed to deny anything further. Maiden also gets one more, but it's the trade from Michaelelli.
Tricked are a really good team, but they're playing a lot of scripts with the grenades, so I can try to read them, but by which grenade they're used which time. So Tricked is good opponent, and that's all I think.
There is a kill to Michaelelli at least. The team coming out for Crystal. There's no trade available. It's going to be another
Oh my! First thing, we will pick good maps. Second step, we will need to good communicate so we can play well. And the third step, of course, is headshots. I think the luck is going to be on my side, but I wish them fun.
Once again, contesting the one. This time around, he goes down to Hunden. That's the re-aggress. It's going to be Lepny. He's going to go down together with Emmy, and that is just Hunden single.
It feels amazing to be in the final, because we were in the final for 2 weeks ago, and we lost that sadly. But I really want to win this one, and I have a good feeling that we can do it. We have the momentum right now. We have lost a single map this tournament, and we're really good on land. So I think we have an amazing chance to win it all.
Wrapping back around, they've got to be careful up close. And actually, I don't really know how Shush gets away with that. That's going to be a kill on the bomb drop, and AK. This is starting to look quite dodgy. Shush still waiting. He gets his third already.
Let's play this final, guys. We're going to take this trophy.
They should be afraid. Like, they have 7 wins in a row, but we're going to 7-7 now.
I like the fighting words out of Jerry, but I also think he's got his hands full. Tricked on screen first. We're going to focus our attention on them. 2-0'd the group and just dismembered, dismantled, destroyed Crazy in their semifinal today.
Yeah, I think this is the way they won the semifinal, that they pressed everyone. We had them as favorite. I think it's fair to say the community in general expected them to win, but not in that way. That was so one-sided. They made Crazy look like they don't play in the same league, right? And if you look at these individuals, let me just tell you this right now. All of these players are overperforming compared to the past 3 months.
Yes.
They're all playing better than what they usually do. And I mean, the 5 of them, there is no one lacking behind. Even Hunden have higher number than he usually does. So the danger can come from everywhere. And this is usually something that we would say about ForZe, but today, it's also valid about Tricked.
Definitely so. I gotta highlight though Bubsky and Shush. I think specifically on Vertigo, they were both key elements to their success to have such a dominant CT side. I think one of Crazy's downfalls on this Vertigo CT side was the fact that they never contested towards that A ramp. Although they threw the smoke, they didn't really contest that part of the map. The opposite could be said for Trick. They constantly brought the fight to the attackers on towards that A ramp. They never let them come through the smoke, and really it put a lot of pressure on their opponents.
No, I would agree. And listen, you know me, I like some numbers sometimes. I would like to lurk on that HLTV and see what's up. Well, all the numbers, every numbers are for Tricked. And I'm talking about the highest flash assist, 0.35. That means, ladies and gentlemen, that 1 kill out of 3 for Tricked comes from a flash. That is the epitome of team play. That is when you have a routine put together, the flash comes in, and you pretty much, you can just eat the guy in front of you. Oh, you're blind. Let me just dispose of you, right? So that is for them. They have the highest multi-kill stats. They have the highest 5v4 conversion, more than 80% of the rounds where they get the opening frags, they're gonna win. They have the highest 4v5, 40%. That means you can get the opening kill against them. It doesn't matter. 1 round out of 2, they're gonna win it anyway, and they have the highest trade. Every number is for Tricked.
Potter, how do you follow that? How do we follow that?
That was a lot of numbers.
This
I can't follow that one.
got math, and it's not shocking. It's not shocking that Trick therefore have all of these edges towards them, because they've shown that from the get-go. They haven't shown any cracks really this event.
Not really.
And you saw it in the interview, or that video just now. They felt as though they were in those finals and they kind of lost it. That's back in Atlanta to Heroic. Heroic have been dispatched of in this event, and I think Tricked are ready to come back in with a win. It's interesting you talk about how the numbers at this event are exceeding their averages, and I think it's because Tricked are still a team that exists in this online realm of CS. They're still playing EU qualifiers, like how they got here to Yongshiping. Well, now they're starting to transition past that. They are direct invites to the next DreamHack Open. They performed in Atlanta. You know, they're starting to cement themselves into this new phase of Counter-Strike, and I think that's really good for them because they acknowledge they're a strong LAN team.
Definitely so. I mean, we pretty much just replaced one Danish team for another one, and it's another fourth up-and-coming Danish squad. And man, the talent that's coming out of Denmark right now is impressive indeed. And yeah, it's really an exciting time, I think. Matthew mentioned it, 2013, the first major. Now, the landscape, the professionalism, the athletes that we're getting out of CSGO right now, it is really spectacular.
Right, and a team who has also gone through this transition, this progression to being a LAN team, who have found themselves in the spotlight more often, is ForZe. ForZe is who we have to take a look at. On the other side of the stage, we have the men led by Jerry, who, I liked his answers. He says the 3 win conditions for this matchup: 1, headshots; 2, his calling; and 3rd, a good map veto. He mentioned they need good maps, and I'm questioning if they got that.
Yeah, I think the question is a legit one to say. When I think about Tricked, what I imagine is a cat that is falling but always ends on its paws, right?
Yeah.
Because they have been through so much trouble. Even at this event, there's been moments where we thought, that's it, they're done for. They're never going to come back. But somehow they find the strength to remain calm when it matters the most, to win that one clutch that's going to make the difference, to get that one entry that's going to give them the round. But it's not necessarily pretty. It's not well organized. It's a little bit messy, but they prevail. So good on them. But going up against Tricked, is that going to be enough?
It's certainly going to be very challenging for them. One thing I do have to mention is, we mentioned they have good head on their shoulders, nice mental fortitude. I did notice, however, on that Inferno, on that nuke in the semifinals, their crossfires started falling apart. We saw them losing a bunch of 5 versus 2s, a bunch of 5 versus 3s. Those kinds of round conversions are nearly impossible. You have to set yourself up for success. Some over-eagerness, perhaps, coming out of these players, over-peaking some angles, breaking the crossfire when you don't have to. I'd like to see them remain disciplined. Don't get too excited. Make sure you get the W on the board before you, get a little too wild.
I like that when we watch ForZe, we're constantly surprised by their kill distribution and the fact that it's evenly given across the team. Flit, someone who in my eye, I've really started to be impressed by here in Winter specifically. We already talked about Z-Power. We already talked about Almazer. And Jerry's leading has been something we attribute some credit to, but now it's the rest of these guys. FaceCrack has been having a great event.
Yeah, I mean, the danger can come from everyone in ForZe. We have been saying that over and over again, but now I think it's important for the viewers that we acknowledge this is a grand final. This is very special in Counter-Strike. It's like it's a one type of environment, and I don't know how these two teams are going to behave. I think I would slightly give the experience to ForZe, considering the amount of international events they've gone through, the fact that they were, for example, in the grand final in Moscow, they were at the major, at the main qualifier, even if it wasn't, they just didn't make it barely by one game. But I do believe that they have slightly more experience in that very specific environment. Sometimes pressure will enable you, and sometimes it will block you, and I don't know where it's going to go.
They're going to have to let that experience shine through here, though, because just thinking back on that interview, they did mention that communication seemed to be a little bit of an issue, some confusion coming out of these members. They've got to go back to their experience, make sure they're able to thrive with the communication, because we mentioned each of these players being so strong, Flit being that third man in, they all rely on each other to feed each other information, find out where they want to go find those kills, and that's what makes all 5 of these members so successful, is just setting each other up for success.
Yeah, communication and information, 2 key talking points, and that's why we, in this head-to-head, have contrasted the 2 in-game leaders. It's Jerry and Hunden. Now, normally, we would say Jerry's performance as a fragger is higher than that of Hunden, although I have seen some decent rounds out of Hunden here. He's self-critical and he's self-aware. He knows he's not the fragger, but at least he's not trailing too far behind.
Yeah, absolutely, I would agree with that. And the reason we picked these 2 is that I believe, in my opinion, this is going to be the biggest tactical and emotional challenge that these 2 two will face for the whole weekend, right? If you are Jerry facing up against Trick now, they're gonna throw at you the biggest curveball you've ever seen. They will draw the timeout, they will force you to make mistaken decisions, and that is the same for Hunden. We know it, ForZe, they're always dangerous in any situation. If you make the mistake when it's 20 seconds left, they will take the clutch. Now, this is the time where these two in-game leaders have to shine. They will have to find the solutions, they will have to remain calm, and they will have to read the game. Jerry said it in an interview. Yeah, we watched Tricked, and I think I know what grenades mean what tactic. Yeah, well, you better walk the walk now, because you know, if you're gonna talk that talk, I want to see you react and predict what's gonna happen, because Hunden's gonna throw curveballs at you all day.
All right, well listen guys, we are getting one step closer to the finals, and you know what that means, it's prediction time.
Oh no.
Been keeping a light tally going on throughout the weekend. Mathieu, you currently lead by one correct prediction over the two of us. So because of that, I'm gonna put the pressure on you, and you start this one. Where do you put your chips?
I'm gonna go with Tricked. I would say it's a risk in itself, because I do believe ForZe have the experience, but what I have seen from Tricked has been enough to convince me. Tactically speaking, I think they have remained calm in every situation so far. Yes, they've only played 4 maps. That's because they won all of them. I cannot fault them for that. So individually speaking, tactically speaking, I'm gonna favor Tricked, and I'm behind Hunted.
I'm also gonna have to echo that as well. I wish I could just say ForZe. I love Jerry's energy. I love what these youngsters are bringing to the table, but you're absolutely right. Hunden seems like he's got ice in his veins. He knows exactly what he's trying to shoot for, and all his players are just in line, waiting behind him to achieve it together. So I'm going with Tricked here.
All right, well, I'm gonna jump the fence and hop on over to the ForZe side. Not only so that I have a chance to tie you, Mathieu, bring you down a peg.
Mainly the only reason.
Yeah, basically. But also because I think that you touched a really good point, and that was that we have seen ForZe here before. This is not the biggest stage they've been on. And yeah, okay, Tricked, they've won events too, but not at a caliber that far above this one here in Jönköping. You talked about Roy. He was admitting in his interview he was nervous before this semifinal, and that was versus Crazy, a team they just dispatched of so easily. What do they have their hands full with when it comes down to ForZe? We will find out. But first, we've got to see what Twitch chat has to say.
This is an interesting one.
ForZe.
Have them with you.
Yeah,
How do you feel? Does he feel comfortable?
It's nice to have them on my side. I feel like I could just like barrage you guys with them.
Right.
You know, they're like attack dogs. But a couple other dogs that are ready to get going are Harry and Hugo.
Woof woof.
Hey man.
What's
There's a lot of enthusiasm.
Normally he does that with
the happiest dog ever.
But Harry let him take it off.
Yeah, I decided to unleash the beast for the grand finals. Hugo, I'm so looking forward to this one, man. There's so many reasons to be excited, right? We have two teams that have both looked stellar thus far, now in the grand finals. We have this storyline of Hunden and the gang finally starting to, I love it. I can't remember who said it over on the desk, but someone said it's like they have armor around them now.
That'll be Mathieu. That's all the analogies, all the metaphors.
He's so poetic. He can't help it. It's just the Swiss way. But yeah, I mean, there's so much energy going into this, and then to top it all off, we're here, we're in Sweden, we're in the wonderful city of Jönköping, and we're celebrating 25 years of DreamHack as we head in to this final. Inferno about to begin. Pistol round underway, and let's get this one started.
Yeah, CT side start for Tricked and full armor. They want to bring the aggression, Harry. Already confident stuff we're seeing. And a push down banana from ForZe. They are going to go fast and furious, but maybe not to the best of ways. A absolute mop-up for Tricked. They get all the kills. Almeza late out of spawn, just trying to get control back of middle, but Hunden won't let him get that frag, and Tricked will take the pistol round to start off this series.
Yeah, now, you know, obviously starting off over on Inferno, this has been a very, very good map for ForZe as of late. It's one that they've picked into every single game here at DreamHack thus far. They feel very, very at home on this map. But Tricked, you know, I think that's going to give Hunden that much more to go back and look at, you know, really do his homework. So they get this pistol round, they get off to a good CT side start. And I think versus ForZe, you look at, you know, I'm really looking at Z-Power here, right? He's someone who is going to be struggling to have those big impacts in this first half. So I think, you know, the fact that you hamstring them even further now by getting the pistol, you're set up to get this second round because ForZe have gone for a full eco. Tricked are going to leave themselves with the best possible start that they can on the back of that. And well, in this round, it is just the pistols out for ForZe. They're really not anticipating that they're going to be able to get away with much. A couple of P250s, couple of Glocks, and that really is it. So something would have to go very, very wrong here for ForZe to pick this round up.
Yeah, chance for the apartments burst into the pit potentially, but Shush is playing balcony to keep cover. Tricked in no hurry. They've got a minute on the clock. They may as well wait for ForZe to bail all their utility into this round. Only one smoke left up, and that's back in CT spawn. Bubsky ready to rotate to either side once his pistols show their push. No one's seen in Banana right now, which enables them to run this solo B setup, and ForZe are finally going to walk in towards this A site about the 30-second mark. That's if they're allowed to. Acor, he wants to force the fight instead. He spots nothing in middle, but there's two players close with the bomb. Huge kill. Bomb getting dropped, but he's dinked, and he's stuck in the open. No teammates to trade, and that's a gun given over.
Yeah, these rounds, there's no armor, but they still can get out of hand. These SMGs, they're the thing that can prove to be so valuable, right? With the aim punch coming in and Bubsky not wasting any time. The real definition of a W holding gamer there. Bubsky's just running in to the backline of ForZe. I like that. I think it's going to be very, very important, especially, I'm looking at Bubsky really, to keep this confidence up. He's someone within this squad who has had huge performances time and time again. And I think, having Hunden there to kind of keep him level, keep him hyped as we head on into this grand final is going to be fantastic. So do be sure to keep your eye on that man. This investment has come in from ForZe, by the way. You'll note that Z-Power's gone for the Mach 10, which is an interesting decision. Maybe looking to bring that AWP out here on the T side.
Yeah, I like that. It means he has more money saved. So regardless of whether he wins or loses the round, the AWP is coming through in the next rifle. We'll see if that will be soon rather than later. Great grenades down Banana. Bubsky and Hunden combine for a frag, and they try and push off the back of it, but it's going to be a kill for ForZe, instantly trading back into a 4-on-4, keeping things close, keeping them contained. ForZe going to ditch out Banana, take that bomb elsewhere. It's been spotted B-side, and it's kept tricked with a two-man setup per site.
And if you're ForZe now, you're very, very happy with this one-for-one trade. Now you're not happy, though. Hunden gets flashed in by Bubsky. Bit of role reversal over at the B-bomb site. And now that man advantage is back in the hand of Tricked. So the three remaining players of ForZe trying to make a play, make something happen in towards this A-bomb site. But they've already been caught in rotation. Almeza will deal with Acor, but he's not ready for the double pit setup. Tricked just hunkered down in this bomb site. And this now leaves FaceCrack in the 1v3. This first rifle round for ForZe might be about to not go their way unless FaceCrack can do the impossible here. And he cannot. Hunden's going to finish him off. Defuse comes in, and Tricked are going to get that third round.
Man, Hunden is just so good, and it's so great to see these really wise calls on the CT side. Stuck in a 4-on-4, not knowing where ForZe are going, and an important bit of re-aggression down Banana to get info. Not only do they pull back the advantage, but it frees up a rotation. It lets Bubsky go all the way back towards that A site and be there in time to help. So heads-up play coming through from Hunden and the likes, and it's going to be Tricked keeping up appearances here on the CT side. 3-0. As the AWP comes through for ForZe, they're going to buy it up despite losing that previous round. The bomb plant giving them a little bit more money, but they've got no utility, and that's going to be the biggest problem. Flit takes a hit. He'll buy up a Galil to get the grenades. And he has actually been the top-rated player for ForZe in this event as well, so that's a bit of a handicap. That's even worse. The AWP going down straight away. Bubsky getting rid of that armorless player. It's going to be Jerry picking it back up and trading, but it comes at a price, 2-1. Acor got a kill down mid right before he was taken down. And I think Flitz realizes a player pushed down Banana, so Tricked wisely decided to give that one up back towards the B-bomb site. Man advantage still held, so there's no reason to play risky and give a opening back into this one for ForZe.
I love that we have Hunden and Bubsky over at the same bomb site. We don't right now. Obviously, Hunden's just begun a rotation over towards Arch side. Tricked are actually anticipating that this is going to end with an A play. Right now, minute left on the clock. There's plenty of time for ForZe to make a decision. And so Tricked, they will decide against having that triple setup. Ooh. That has left a bit of a gap, though. If you look on that minimap, FaceCrack is looking to exploit this Arch position, and he's picked the perfect timing to do it. They've just rotated Roy away from this side of the map, and this has given FaceCrack a huge avenue into this round. This play now could be the defining factor for ForZe in whether or not they find this.
Roy just turned around. He just checked his backline. He's going to do it again, flinging back and taking down FaceCrack. It's Jerry alone in a 1-on-4. How the tables have turned. That looked like a chance for ForZe. That is swept out from underneath them. Bubsky with 3 kills in the round. A double AWP, even able to be saved if they want. They choose against it. What a round for Tricked, keeping this up every single time. 4-0 on the CT side with no signs of slowing down. And one of the crazy things about this game, Harry, is the head-to-head, right? When we look at historically these two teams playing up against each other, albeit with, slightly different rosters, right? Roy is the latest addition. Tricked, they've only beaten ForZe once out of the 8 times they've played each other. So that's a huge stat. That's really showing dominance in the favor of ForZe. But at this event, Tricked picked up their first win against this roster.
Yeah,
that was in the
back
group
on
stages.
Overpass, right? And even if you look towards that like Vertigo pocket pick that we saw Tricked bring out, right? Even if you look back historically there, ForZe have been able to best Tricked on that map in the past. So I think this is set to be an interesting series, but right now Tricked are just bringing another level. And as I was saying, I love that we have Bubsky and Hunden over towards B, because Bubsky is someone who loves his bit of aggression, and I think having Hunden there is perfect because he's someone who can make that decision to, all right, I feel like maybe we're going a little too deep now. You saw in that round prior where Bubsky goes deep down Banana, they hear him with the getting tagged in the Molotov, right? And it very much seemed like it was Hunden to make that decision, but in this round they've actually switched it up, and it's Roy here. Alongside Bubsky, Hunden over in middle, and he's going to make his presence known. And so much damage done as him and Shush, they're combining for kills apiece. Finally, Hunden is dealt with. But it's not really much for ForZe to work with in this situation. They've only got pistols. That flashbang is good, but Flit just can't capitalize on those blind players. The pistol's not doing much for ForZe in that round there, and Tricked are going to continue 5-0. Bubsky, by the way, is still yet to die. 10-0 over towards that B bomb site. And that's a bit of a worrying sign of the times for ForZe. If you've been shut down on B that heavily every single time, you haven't even been able to kill the B site anchor, that is going to start to get in your head and lure you more and more towards this A bomb site, or you're going to become very obsessed with cracking the nut that is B.
Oh, that's a chance, that's a hit. A tag onto Hunden with the AWP, and actually Flit finds Bubsky pushing in through that smoke, trying to spam down. It's not going to work out. ForZe with a pick, and Flit's going to go heads up into this site. Roy trying to hold the corner, he's got support. Luckily enough, this triple B setup at the start of the round has left Tricked with a chance to fight back. The AWP connecting again, Roy's dropped the bomb, and that's going to be a trade from Z-Power, but the smoke denies any cross. He goes through it, ballsy attempt, but it leaves his teammate alone. FaceCrack again has found this timing on Arch, and he might just get a 1-free kill, just running right into it. Now it's the question for FaceCrack. Does he want to go through the spawn? Does he want to wrap back to mid? It will be the latter as he waits for Roy to come and grace him with this fight.
Oh, and he's going to get rewarded. Roy tries to reposition, tries to leave that bomb behind. Takes Roy off the grid, doesn't even have a social security number, but is still picked up. And that there is the first round on the board for ForZe.
And sometimes those can be the hardest rounds, right? Just getting on that board when you're down 0-5 can feel like a big sigh of relief. Now ForZe have a chance to build upon that first round victory, and it's Jerry taking a hit for the team who has to take a pistol because no AWP for Z-Power, so gifted a Krieg. Back to this early B control, but Tricked have 3 players here once again. The Molotov's coming in too late. These teams are already up and past the car, but luckily Roy is here, ready and waiting with 3. It's actually Bubsky taking the third away, but once again that bomb has been deserted here by ForZe. They've lost it. FaceCrack won't be able to lurk up Arch this time. Shush gets the better of him in this engagement, as that is not the first time we've seen FaceCrack try and exploit a gap, a weakness in the defense from Tricked. Well, not this time.
And I mean, for ForZe, this is where I would just love to see, it feels like they're taking a lot of these isolated fights, right? We've seen FaceCrack on these lurks. They've had mixed results, right? He's been in positions where he could have done a lot, but ultimately, a lot of the time, it's ended up amounting to very, very little for ForZe. And you think back to a few of the matchups that we've seen from them, whenever they've looked their strongest, it's just when they're playing this very heads-up, 5-man Counter-Strike, taking areas of the map together. And I think as well, you kind of look at the teams that they've faced thus far, and it feels like while there's been like a decent bit of strategy behind them, right? You look at the guys like Crazy, Furia, for example. Just Furia. But you look at that, right? And I think they're a team where a lot of it is an individual basis. I don't think that's the case for Tricked. It's very much a team game. So you've got to answer with a team game of your own. A 6th round on the board for the Danes as they continue this destruction on ForZe's map pick of Inferno. And now that money's in a very bad spot once again for ForZe. This lead is about to get even stronger for Trick.
I want to see ForZe move away from this B bomb site early, right? Sometimes they've been beating the mollies, sometimes they haven't, but they've always been losing the bomb and getting off worse when it comes to the trades ultimately. So hopefully they'll start ditching that site once they get back to rifles and play a slower default. Obviously with pistols, it doesn't really matter. but they won't go too heavily into B this time. Trick to switch it up. You don't always want to play 3B at the start of every round, because if the T start reading that, they might elevate the pace and go fast up mid or take the apartments. So Tricked, smartly so, don't do it every round. They throw it in here and there. And on this one, it's just a double B setup. Tricked have the utility to slow down this push, to segregate these Ts. The grenades don't connect anything, and Bubsky, he finds a kill, but his teammate's gone. Got to hold the line on his own, and smartly decides to give up the site. Throws down that Molotov. It does minimal damage, and ForZe will be able to get a bomb plant here.
Yeah, the rotations are in for Tricked, so they will have pretty much the majority of players here. Shush is hanging around, and that's because FaceCrack has always been coming in on these late lurks, so they've dedicated a player to keeping an eye on that. Just watching to see if there's anyone in the back line here for ForZe, and that there has just cost them dearly, right? They go in, they try and take that initial peak, the trade doesn't come through either, and that round falls apart. So the pistols are enough for ForZe to find success here in round number 8. They're going to get their second up now. One thing to note, Z-Power still sitting down bottom of the charts for ForZe. 1 kill to his name.
And that was an AWP kill, but it was one that was immediately traded by Acor, so we've not really seen enough of the AWP in this man's hands, but I mean, it's been a talking point every time we see ForZe play Inferno, right? It's like he's so sick on CT. We're going to see him rotating a lot, playing B, switching it up to mid in the same round. But on T-side, on T-side Inferno, he definitely does seem to fall flat at times.
And that's the thing. That's why I think it's very, very interesting that Inferno is a real go-to map for ForZe, because, you know, when you rely so heavily on the AWPing power that Z-Power provides, it's one where, you know, for half the game almost, you can end up having that AWP really struggle to fit in. I think that also is kind of a testament to just how good this CT side AWP is, right? But this round, we're talking about AWPs. We should be talking about Acor. He's come over towards top banana and already plucked Flit from this round. Man advantage taken for Tricked, and no way to respond to this if you're ForZe. Jerry's even got tagged just crossing at the bottom of banana. He's not even looking for this fight, and he's been brought down low. He's in real danger of getting finished off.
Yeah, he needs to be careful, constantly re-peeking.
One upside is, though, he did see that there was like 3 players there, so he's made the call now for ForZe to go for this fast A play, knowing that there's only a couple of players here.
But double pit setup, Harry, that could be the make or break here for Tricked. Shush flashed off, and they've spotted him. They're going to focus. They fall into the pit. Hunden with 1, hiding in the smoke, but not for long enough. They've already found that kill. Z-Power now scoped up with an AWP, and a bomb coming round to plant as well, but it is trapped in the pit currently. They need a moto smoke to try and open up the chance to plant, and that one's just faded. Jerry taking the advantage back onto Bubsky, who rotated down from the banana. ForZe finally get that smoke in, and the bomb can cross successfully. If you're Tricked here, you definitely got to be questioning the, you know, how realistic this round is at this point. They had to save in a 2-on-4 back on B last time, and they're going to do it again as ForZe take that A site. Very important mid-round call from Jerry to go for the apartments, like you say, and ForZe able to convert the trades. Despite that double pit setup from Tricked, which usually is pretty effective, I think Shush just got caught out of position while blinded on the bike. And that's a 3rd round, Harry. This may have been a 6-1 lead for Tricked, but ForZe are closing the gap a little bit closer.
Yeah, it does feel like they're getting back into the swing of things, right? And this hasn't been terribly uncommon for ForZe to have these kind of slower starts, so we're starting to have that worry that we had early on kind of fading away now, right?
Yeah.
When it was massively in favor of Trick with the 5-0 start. I was a bit scared, but now we're starting to see ForZe find their form.
This was something that Connor said on the desk as well, and we saw from the earlier best of 3 that ForZe played against Godsent in those semis. It's, you know, okay, Trick, they may have the strategy, but ForZe, they've got the resilience. They're not going to give up. They were down by a huge margin against Godsent in that 3rd map earlier on today and managed to win 9 out of the last 10 rounds to close it out in the best of 3. So do not count ForZe out of any situation here as they sit half the scoreline of Tricked, but that's going to change here, Harry, because Tricked, at eco round finally coming through, the money is vacant. Acor and Roy with the only guns, and they put them to good use at least. That's actually a free weapon for Shush to pick up, and no one to stop him here, so Tricked improving their arsenal bit by bit, but they've lost mid-control and running. Oh dear! Oh no, Shush! He gets traded, but he gets a knife kill. That's huge. ForZe had no idea.
Oh my word, I don't think Shush had any idea. He just went running out and then was like, wait, what? There's a guy here? Yeah. Stabs him in the back. And there was even a world where he gets around that corner. If he didn't run into the... Oh no, hang on. It's all getting mopped up now by Flit, though. This is such a messy round. They're still going for the A site, and Roy, he could have had a chance to turn it around, but he gets picked up immediately, falling at that first hurdle. And Acor likely just going to hold on to the AWP.
I mean, it was confusion for both sides, but my only question is, why the hell did ForZe not realize that, right? They just lost a player in their apartments. Yes, okay, they didn't know there were two there, but they've got the info. They should be keeping their eyes on Boiler. And although the trade was there, it came in too late.
A part of me wonders if it's because Roy was pretty obvious about the rotation back through apartments, runs the whole way. So maybe those players on short, you know, they hear that Roy gets the kill. Yeah, but a bit of an awkward one.
Hey, Shush will take it every day of the week,
that's an extra 1,500 in his pocket. He's going to take that all day long.
Fantastic. You love to see that. So 4 rounds for ForZe. They're still putting up numbers on this T side, and Tricked are lacking numbers, or at least were. Now that money's been kicked into play, and they can go for the buy-up once again. Can even get a double AWP if they want to be absolutely mad about it, thanks to that knife kill. And yeah, Shush will drop a second one over, I think. No, it was just Acor's getting traded, so just one for the time being. Playing it safe. And Acor, he switched it up. He's gone back towards this A site as well. No more top B peaks, but a molly down mid, and no one playing off the back of it. The pressure's being put on B once again. Great utility from Trick, and it's actually going to fully burn out. Z-Power, he dies without even taking a bullet. Just the flames. Flip with a trade-up banana, keeps it in a 3-on-3. That was crucial as he runs through the smoke. But is it going to be enough? And do ForZe want to commit off the back of that?
Oh no, they just go back just to check middle, just to watch for this play that Shush is doing right now, and that puts them in the firing line of Acor's AWP. They'll get the trade, but Shush, he saw him. He knows what's going on here. Shush has to be careful. He might miss the timing onto Jerry, and Jerry's now removed the A-man, and this now leaves just Hunden alone, 1v2. Rotation in through CT spawn. We've been bigging him up all day long. We said that finally he's got a 4-piece unit around him that's looking good, but right now that could not be further from the truth. This all lies on Hunden's back. This shot from Flit has given Hunden a little window to work with, but Jerry's going to shut him down. Gives him nothing to work with there in that clutch. And ForZe now onto a 5th, taking the last 4 rounds in a row. They have bought themselves back into this map in a very, very big way.
Man, I don't want to bash him any more than he's already getting bashed, but Z-Power, he died in a full Molotov there. He just went from 100 to 0.
I was watching it and I kept thinking like, oh, he'll move. And no.
He didn't move, Harry.
It could have been one of those times, where you're scoped in with the AWP, you don't realize you're burning. But I mean, I'm really looking for ways to explain that one.
Nice grenades down banana. That's one of the only things Tricked bought in this round, and luckily ForZe have read it. They realize there's so many players towards B. Face crack on the long lurk. We've seen him here before, and this time it works wonders. 2 kills on those rotations. Hunden gonna go for a shot, but not connecting with the Deagle, and just a pit player left up. It's gonna be Shush looking for frags. ForZe don't need to give them a fight, but they may as well. They've got the numbers advantage, and a quick 6th taken on this T side, leveled up with Tricked scoreline, and that's terrifying, to be honest, if they can keep it going, because this could be a 9-6, an 8-7 T side for ForZe, and they'll take that every day.
And when you consider that they've essentially been playing it 4v5, and that Z-Power is going to come alive in that second half, you know, like when he really can have that much more impact. We've just seen, you know, this really isn't that uncommon. Every single time we see Z-Power T side, he's normally single digits, bottom of the board, goes into that second half, and he'll be like 8 kills up within the first 4 rounds. So that's still to come. That's something that ForZe still have up their arsenal. In this round, it's a fast long play. They get up towards Arch side. Tricked once again, hedging their bets with this triple B stack, have left this side of the map a little under-defended. And the kills now coming in. Hunden's holding a little gap in this smoke, but he's given up his position. And Jerry, clash of the big brains, comes in clutch. Acor's going to get dropped as well. Jerry is doing everything in this round. And now Z-Power here to end it. He'll cement it with 2 kills of his own. ForZe are going to take the lead. This was 6-1 at one point in time in favor of Tricked. And now with ForZe winning 6 in a row, they find themselves in the driver's seat.
That ForZe resilience shining through once again, Harry, in such an important moment as well. Their map pick in this series, the grand final. and not letting their foot off the gas. Trick now having to eco, playing for that last round of the half. We've got a shotgun on BO3, we've got pistols on everyone else, and a bit of a mid-push coming through, but slams in the smoke will offer up some damage for ForZe. There's a gap. They see players cross towards second mid, so FaceCrack patiently waiting and patiently bursting. He'll find 3. Another locked-in round here for ForZe, it seems. Butsky, oh my god, how does he get that kill? And of course it's on Z-Power as well. They'll just take his AWP and go, it's okay, dude. The CT side's coming up in a sec. And ForZe, 8 rounds right now on this T side. The last buy for Tricked. Bubsky on that second AWP. And man, considering Bubsky's performance, not only right now where he's 17-8, but in the tournament in general, he has been fantastic. So happy to see him on the second AWP. I mean, even if we look at the stats here, out of the top 5 rated players at this event, 4 of them are Tricked, not including Hunden, to be fair. But that's just very impressive. And let's see if they can put ForZe to the test in this final round. Another fast, long play. Spam is excellent, and Hunden dropping the bomb out in middle. Doesn't hold on to it, but does just take that 5-on-3 advantage. Tricked, they're heavily rotating, but they're not playing for the bomb, so they've got to be very careful if they leave this B bomb site, especially considering Hunden's gone down as well.
I've had many a conversation with Chad Sponge Virtual about this exact situation. If you get the bomb this early on in the round, he's a big believer that you don't play around that, right? You take that man advantage while you got it. There's still too much time left, and you can't afford to give up ground to the opposition. So that's why we see Bubsky still sat back over towards this B side of the map. Tricked are locking down every potential avenue that one of these little worms might try and work themselves into, and Jerry and Flit, well, they find that out the hard way. Z-Power's left alone, and Akor's going to best him in the head-to-head with the AWP there. Tricked just about salvaging a 7th round at the end of the first half, but this is split right down the middle. We'll be back with the second after a quick break, so don't go anywhere. Wow, the air is filled with suspense. We are split right down the middle at the end of that first half. Tricked getting off to a fantastic start. ForZe piecing things together towards the end of that first half. Now moving into their CT side, and Tricked, pistol round beginning. Utility for Akor and Hunden, and a fast B play looking to be the order of the day.
Oh, instant flank as well, and the fact that Almaze's open first blood is going to help. That flank finally coming through as well, and Tricked are stuck between a rock and a hard place. Nowhere to go, nowhere to hide, and ForZe just take them apart in Banana. Didn't even need the B hold there. The flank was faster than the T's, and Tricked are not even going to get past that choke point. That's a weird pistol round. It's how we often see these T-side B-rush pistol rounds go. Everyone's just so ready for them nowadays. So ForZe, quick pistol, and that's going to really send them skyrocketing off on this CT side. Tricked, only Glocks. Sort of flashbang to try and get them around a corner, but ForZe are waiting on the other end with SMGs.
And this is now a time, you want to see these SMGs try and make cash. That nade, oh my word, so much damage, even more as they go through the edge of a Molotov. And oh, this MP9 is going to have a field day. It's a slaughterhouse over on Banana, and everyone's been massacred here for Trick. No kills have come in, and oh my word, walking his way, and that there is the kill for ForZe. They'll go 10-7 up by coming back in for Trick now. And this is where things get exciting. This is what we've been waiting for all game long. Seeing this CT side AWP on Z-Power, fall by for Tricked over on the T side. And this is where we really get to see how these teams are going to stack up head to head.
AWP over on mid as well. Z-Power going to be looking to take that early fight, but Flip, man, the confidence. He's already down middle. He's playing bench seconds into this round, and no utility to give it away as well, but the Creed is posted, and Akor gets that kill. Z-Power almost goes down as well. He has to bail. Want to get out of middle. Jerry getting flashed back into Banana. Does still have control towards his top of car, but doesn't want to stay there for too much longer. Tricked. No rush on this T side. Let the mastermind Hunden do his work. Take your time here, And you can see he's chatting to his team as well with a game plan for this round. Do ForZe want to gamble? Look at this rotation. Almaza's moving off, and Jerry might follow him. He does. That's the B site open for business. There's a lurk there that could confirm this information.
This is a very Jerry decision to make, right? He does kind of weird, wacky things like this all the time, and when they work, he looks like a genius. And this one, well, it could. It definitely could. That Molotov has forced Roy in through the smoke. Still the kill going his way. Shush him with another. And I think Trick, they've wisened up. They've spotted so many bodies here. They've read the stack. They actually split through CT and rotate that bomb all the way through mid down to connector. They're going to get a plant inside of B. And Bobsky is just hounding down these remaining players. Z-Power, he wants to hold on to the orb. We've been speaking all game long about how important it is. And he will at least get rid of the first hound on his tail. But where there's one, there's often more with these Great Danes. Z-Power, for now, doing a great job of navigating these rather murky waters. As he gets into the T apartments, he's just dodged Hunden in through the lower tunnels, and he might just get away with this AWP.
If only he knew, he could have ninja'd. There's no one there, right? They obviously tricked, they haven't boxed in, and they know that. But as Hunden moves into second mid, if Z-Power came up ramp in some very unfortunate timing, he might have actually had a chance. But obviously not to know that Trick were fully chasing his position. He'll just get away with that gun. Important save here for ForZe, as you say. It will enable a buy going forward as well, considering Almaza has no money left. He'll be dropped over, and everyone else is all fine and dandy here for ForZe. A quick pause before that, though. Trick starting things off early on their T side. Despite that pistol win for ForZe, they won't go on a CT side streak like Trick did initially in that first half.
Now, we're still a little ways away from seeing anything like the AWP come out over on this T side. But I don't even know if we're going to, I think that Trick are a team that are just more than comfortable dealing with Z-Power on the back of utility. I mean, that said, Acor's AWP in this event has actually been pretty phenomenal. So I'm curious to see if they ever try and bring that in as a solution. Right now, they've been able to get the better of the AWP, so it doesn't really matter. They'll set up towards Banana again in this round, Hugo. And Z-Power is here with that scavenged green gun holding down the line from CT. A double setup as well. He's got Almaza right behind him. Obviously, Almaza has been known as the secondary AWPer in this squad. So Z-Power, if he goes down, wow, my word, he's not going down, at least not yet. It will get picked up by Acor, but they're surprised by Jerry and his presence. He's going to drop this smoke, try and play around it, and that slowed Tricked right down. They've also got a man over in the apartments. That's Shush. So they do still have this A control. They haven't hamstrung themselves, as sometimes you see where you do just group up over towards B, and then it becomes too much chaos, too much of a commitment to have to go and clear mid, clear apartments. No, they've been holding on to this, so they were ready. They had a fail-safe in place, and now they'll go for this A play. Only 2 players here to try and put a stop to it for ForZe.
The face crack's just gotten past that motor smoke. He's got a crossfire. Doesn't matter. Roy finding him through the box, splitting the pit, has got to do it all, but he can only get one, and that's not enough. It buys time for Jerry to rotate, but he has such a long route back into this A site. He has got to go all around the world, and he might not even opt to. Holding on to this AWP instead seems to be the name of the game, and that will be Tricked, finding 9 rounds on this T side. Really nice call from Hunden not to overcommit into that B bomb site, right? They get an early advantage. They trade well. Acor gets 2 kills with the Krieg, and then he runs in and dies to Jerry. And instead of just going in for the trade like a lot of players would, Hunden goes, no, okay, let's stop. Let's go back, play that 3-on-3, and it works wonderfully.
I think a lot of that, Hunden's someone who we always say does his homework on the teams they're up against, and he studied ForZe. And as we've spoke about, as the desk have done a great job of highlighting, Jerry is the kind of guy who will make these decisions to go for site stacks, go for these gambles. And I think that's why the second they spot a 3rd man there over towards the B bomb site, and they see that there's CZs in play, they see that the buy didn't seem to be picture perfect for the ForZe side, Hunden just all right, we'll slow it down. We'll head back towards A. And I think that's why also they get so blindsided by Flit down in pit, right? They didn't seem ready. They didn't seem to consider there would be a second man there.
At the end of the day, you know, after Jerry gets a kill to A-Core, they don't know if he's the last man or if there's a 4-man stack here. You never know. Anything is possible when you're up against ForZe. These guys can be, well, tricky rather. A-Core finding an opening kill here through apartments. That was from second mid. Face crack dropping, and Z-Power and Flit follow. They try and pick up the AWP one by one, and Bubsky's going to rid them both of their lives. Trick just doubling down on this A-side push through the apartments. They know they've already cleared that out from the initial wallbang kill, and there's nothing that ForZe can do or say about it. Jerry's got an MP9, now Mesa, a pistol, still sat back on B. And Tricked, they are just holding on, waiting for someone to try their hand at this retake, but it's not looking realistic. Jerry's just playing for exit kills at most. And Tricked actually might be able to find Almeza at the back of the B-bomb site, but really, you know, they don't know it, but it's not even worth chasing at this point. Risk losing your gun to take away a CZ, who cares? But that Molotov is fantastic, and A-Core is going to get the kill. I love that from Tricked. Really, really heads-up play. Jerry will be able to get away with this gun. There's no one coming to stop him on long, but meh. Only an MP9, so Trick 10 rounds, and the scoreline is back in action. That's, yeah, oof. He didn't have armor, so the bomb does a lot more damage. Not a worry. I'm sure he was going to reinvest in a rifle anyway come this round.
Yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate as well because it was a slightly deeper site plant than I think what Jerry there was expecting. Obviously, you know, with site control being lost, usually you'll see an apartments plant in those kind of situations. You can watch it from pit, you can watch it from short. There's so many different positions, but they actually planted it kind of within the bomb site. And that there does even more damage on top of the no armor. Buy round back in though. We won't focus on that little mistake for too long. Instead, we're looking at this, and the boost is good. They even run boost Z-Power out of there. That's just a little extra style point for ForZe. Oh, but through the smoke, Bubsky doesn't even see Almaze. The same can be said the other way around, and he still gets the kill. Jerry's been picked up, and everywhere Tricked go, they're finding success. They lose the early man, sure, but they're so quick in their response with this B-bomb site play. And I mean, now, man down for ForZe. Do they want to give this a go?
I mean, bottom's not down yet, so they're still hanging around at least, hoping that Trick give them a fight, give them a way back in. If Z-Power could find a kill with this AWP, maybe they could try it out, but at this rate, Tricked are not budging. Crossfire set up inside of this site and in the ruins as well, so save time for ForZe. This is where things are going to get really rough on that CT side when it comes down to the money, because even though they're holding on to 3 weapons here, they're not getting enough loss bonus to really justify full buys here. They're not going to have M4s with all that utility. On a map like Inferno, you need those Molotovs, Harry. We've seen how, you know, consistently both these teams have been going for these early triple B setups just to throw incendiaries down Banana, take that initial control, but it's just not going to be allowed here for ForZe. They might even have to just buy pistols around this investment. And that might just give Tricked another round.
Yeah, and I think, you know, if you're going to pistol into this, this is a great time to try something a little bit new, see what you can get away with, right? I would love to see maybe like a triple B stack early on. That was something that worked out wonderfully. Maybe see the AWP go for the mid-peak, or alternatively, maybe some of these pistol players or these SMG players can try get aggressive in the apartments. I would love to see that, because it's not been uncommon for Shush just to be working that side of the map alone. Yeah. And that could be a way for you to not only find an opener, but kind of force Tricked's hand, right? Whenever they've gone towards B, they've had the option to go A, thanks to Shush up in the apartments. And so this round, they do try their hands at the Apps aggression. And if they find him tricked, they're forced to either have to come back here, try and get this trade, try and deny map control to this side of the map, or they're forced into the B bomb site. That's all they can do in that situation.
Early damage traded in Apps, but ultimately they will eventually leave. ForZe falling back to this mid play, and Z-Power waiting with the AWP. This is a dangerous angle, but he's just not expecting it. Sent back to the carpet store as Tricked to down a man in this round. And they might just opt for that B plate. You can see the bomb already adjusting in middle. Bubsky's pushed up in the corner, but I love this call from ForZe. A triple B setup. They've rotated everyone over, so a real stack on this side of the map. Tricked actually might not go into it after all. Still milling about in middle with Shush also in the apartments. Smoke's now being lined up. Bubsky, will he go in late, trying to catch rotations off of this site once the smokes come in, or will he try and sell a fake? With no utility, you would imagine it would be the former. 35 seconds now. Trick that can't afford to leave it too late. But they are going into the right side of the two. Face crack, however, quick kill from the pit. The Molotov could be a problem, but Bobski lucky, and B has just found 2 kills. Massive openers traded back by Jerry. The bomb's going to have to come into B, but they haven't cleared the site. There's still a man here.
Yeah, Bobski calls. I got both the B players. Runs in with his back turned, and now they know Jerry's here. They've got 5 seconds to kill him, or else that bomb is not going down. And Jerry, being old Jerry, is just wasting time away. They do get him, but is there time for the plant? I think they've just got it by about half a second. They get that bomb down.
Wow.
Try as Beanpole Jerry might to hide away. Now, 2v2 in the retake, and AWP on Z-Power. Anything but ideal for ForZe. This is one of the best spots they've been in a while, though, so they've got to at least give this a go.
Yeah, so many mad disadvantage retakes that they couldn't go for, but a 2-on-2, no kit, however. Hunden falling back, his teammates are already gone. Will they expect both in the same position? Well, they have to at this rate, but it doesn't matter. Hunden's nailed the shot. 1-on-1 versus the AWP. The kit picked back up. Z-Power's just sticking the bomb, and Hunden can't stop it. He's got to go wide, and it's the defuse. ForZe win the round. The bomb planted open, but not open enough. Hunden had to go wide towards the coffins, and it took him too long. It's going to be ForZe getting back on the board after a bit of an absence. 4 rounds in a row for Tricked, eventually broken. And what a huge hold by Jerry. The delay play is immense.
Yeah, he plays that so well. He knows that if he's just staying alive, he's buying time for rotations, he's denying that bomb plant, and he almost gets it. Round still picked up, and ForZe in with an 11th. Sometimes it's just getting that first round since you've been on a deficit that's the really, really hard task. Now that you've kind of got a basis to work off of, you've got a bit of confidence instilled, you can try and go from strength to strength. And so Tricked, I don't want to let ForZe do that. They'll set up early on outside of B, but they rotate away. They're going to leave Bobski here once again. Seeming like, you know, if they do go for these fakes, they'll always leave a player to hold the default elsewhere, deny any map control. It's Shush over towards A, and it's Bobski over towards the B bomb site. That draws parallels as well with where they play on the CT side, by the way, so they're very at home here. They know the angles. They know what they're peeking into. And so Tricked, yeah, they back away from A. They rejoin Bobski. They meet up with him at the B bomb site. It's a rendezvous of Danes. And they're now pushing in. Smoke down for CT. Flash is lined up and running on in. Jerry, oh my goodness! He's going to get 3. Will get traded eventually. Man advantage in favor of ForZe. This retake is well and truly underway.
Yeah, without a doubt. 2-on-2 last time. A 2-on-3, well, that's favored for ForZe. And they are going to be moving in. Not much utility. They've got a Molotov on Z-Power, but he wants to stay scoped in with the AWP. Just waiting, and he's fallen at the first hurdle with Aiko alone. Quick molly down, but does he realize that there's an AWP to his left? He's not holding for it. Flick back, lands a shot, but it's not a killing blow, and they're surrounding him up close and personal. Face crack closes it out, and ForZe, they're going to be able to get the defuse and the retake successfully. Even 2 AWPs held on. Almeza can pick up that second one, and ForZe just got a whole lot more scary.
Yeah, I mean, you know, in terms of AWPing performance, Z-Power is always the man that we talk about, but Almaz has had some stellar games on that secondary AWP, right, where you could almost say he was contending for the top performer. And I think, you know, moving into this double AWP setup now as a possibility becomes real scary for Tricked heading into this next round.
That transfer from Jerry, man. This dude is unbelievably talented, and, you know, such a character as well. We are honored to have him here on our stream.
You can't not love Jerry.
No. Oh, close. But no cigar for Z-Power. He's not going to be able to hit that shot. They're just going to run right through it. Molly extinguished by the smoke. Another one comes in, and Z-Power gets a kill. Face crack supporting in middle. We have a double short setup, and it proves wonderful for ForZe. A 5-on-3 and back to B into the second AWP they go, but they don't know it's waiting at the top of Banana, and Almeza will keep this one in the favor of ForZe. Not a point of damage done to the Russians in this round, and Trick, got to be careful. They're walking into yet another stack.
Yeah, this gamble from ForZe to have 3 players here is looking to pay dividends. Acor, oh, he will spot him there. He will spot the man on Coffins. Not quite able to get the shot. And there's the peak from Almeza. Very content to take that with the PT-50. ForZe 13-11, and we're witnessing a real switch around in the momentum of this game. For Tricked, for the last, 5 rounds, they were able to kind of go wherever they wanted to, right? When they get those 4 in a row, rather, it felt like wherever they wanted to go on the map, they were getting all the kills, they were getting all the real estate. But in these last 3, everything they've tried has just been picked apart almost immediately. And so now we see, they think that solution is going to come with bringing the AWP out onto A-Core. Finally, you've got something that can try and whittle these AWPs down, try and exert some pressure back in return.
Are Trick just going to go for a full flat B play? That would be a ballsy call at the start of the round. It might just be Smokes looking to bait utility out from ForZe, hoping that Molotovs are thrown in. The ForZe, nerves of steel, not pressured, not baited by the fake. Now it will be the commitment this time. Tricked are all grouped up in Banana and ready to go. Smokes lined once again, and it's going to be up to Almeza and Jerry to give us another strong hold. Jerry has been fabulous, and Almeza is on this AWP that we've been hyping up. Already smoked off though, Molly has to go down. They haven't mollied Jerry out of this position despite doing it numerous times, numerous rounds. So Jerry, he has a chance to really light up the scoreboard once again. Bomb dropped in the open, looking for more, but immediately traded. Shot through the smoke from Almeza. A flick comes through, one of his own. 2 kills from him. Shush now alone in a 1-on-3, and the smoke fades at the perfect time. It's ForZe with 14.
And I mean, this is the classic ForZe playstyle, right? And Trick, they've got to start expecting the unexpected, because that is what ForZe do. Flit just rushing through this smoke. Wow. Rewarded so handsomely for it. And early on, ForZe, they might have had to subscribe to the Tricked playstyle, the more regimented style of play, but that is not the case now. They look so comfortable. And now no money left for Tricked, heading in to what could be the round that gives up map point here to ForZe, with just pistols to work with.
This has been back and forth all game long, but now Tricked, they really got their work cut out for them. ForZe's map pick looking strong, and Z-Power warming up into the second half like we expected. Stepping up in so many rounds. He may not be getting all these kills, but even think back to that 1v1 defuse that he gets against 100 on that B bomb site, right? Huge, huge round. That was a start to get ForZe on this streak. They've now got 4 in a row and looking for the final 2 to send them over to Vertigo. Molly in mid does go out with the smoke, and Trick are going to look to execute nice and quickly here. We have 3 players on A. Flit's alone. He's stuck under the balcony. Bumsky's actually out from apartments, though, and they haven't cleared him off of the site. He can't hit a shot, though. Z-Power ducking, dodging, weaving through this graveyard, finally out of ammo, and the pistol's going to finish off the job. ForZe not losing a man in that round. Trick are not going to be in a good spot now, and they have to pull a 4-round comeback versus a very wealthy ForZe.
And I mean, since breaking that streak that Tricked are on, ForZe, their defenses, their results at the end of these rounds have been getting more and more convincing, and that's the scary part. Every time there was an improvement in the number of players staying alive. So this money's just been building up and up over on the CT side. And this means that for Trick, if they want to get back into this, they've got to grind. They're going to be up against rifles in almost every one of these rounds, and that first relies on you even getting the first one. Already they've lost Bubsky. What a huge scalp to find for Jerry, the top performer over on the Tricked side, already removed. And now he's just got to sit back while he watches his 4 remaining friends in the server try and deny this victory the way of the Russians.
That's really a rough player to lose at the start of the round, though. He has been the man finding so many opening kills here for Tricked, really making this scoreline possible, and now down and out for what could be the last. Oh, nice shot. Almeza on top of the car. He gets legged, but it's not enough. Jerry's dropped the bomb. It is all over for Tricked unless they can pull back these trades, and Roy will keep this round going and the map alive for Tricked. The B site's open for business, and Z-Power's on that rotation, but they've got to smoke for the choke.
I don't know if they're going to be ready for this incredibly fast flank that Flit is on. He's just barreling up Banana. He's not wasting any time. He's going to catch them getting the bomb down. He lines up so much damage. Not quite the kill. Roy has got to ace it if he wants to keep this dream alive. The new boy on the block for Tricked, and trying to get that bomb down. It's not the right play. Face Crack's gonna find him, and ForZe, they'll take their map. A sweeping victory at the very, very end. Since that initial 4 rounds that Tricked pick up on the T side, they get nothing else. ForZe come out swinging, and they make a statement there at the end of that first map.
Yeah, impressive stuff. And now we move to Vertigo. I mean, this one's still up for question. It's a map that we've already seen Trick proving themselves on before, but it's not one that ForZe are going to be uncommon to. And right now, Harry, I think we're in for a three-mapper. ForZe are really looking warmed up and ready to go. And I don't know where this is going to go. We're going to have to throw this over to the analysts and see what they make of that one, see how the predictions are going.
Yeah, go ahead and take a rest, boys. You get ready for that second map. This series not necessarily over, but the first map certainly is. And as they said, 4 rounds in a row for the start of the T side, and then things just seem to collapse. ForZe closing it down on the defense and really kind of making a statement here.
I think it's the first time we see Trick being out of solution. And it is impressive to me. Now, I just want to say, Inferno, the lowest win rate for Trick. This is their weakness when it comes to the map pool.
Of course.
And it definitely showed. They were leading 6-1 on the CD side of Inferno, which means they had the money, they had the AWPs, they had the utilities, they had everything they needed, and still ForZe were able to pull back to 8-7 first half. So yes, that was lackluster from Trick, but you gotta tip your hat Trick to ForZe. I mean, they did put up a great fight and they win that first map.
Exactly. I think Harry's face at the end of that segment perfectly described this matchup. I gotta say, I feel a little bit for Trick. I think early on in that first half, remember when Shush was pushing down mid, he made it all the way to bench, and that player goes under that underpass, and just the timing in that round. Then over in the second half towards B, when Jerry just throws that old school flash, swings out and gets a quick 3K. It really ruined the pace that Trick were setting up within this round. After that first initial mid push from Shush, they lost 7 rounds in a row. ForZe were able to just string them back to back to back. And if we think back, Trick were in a dominant lead in that first half. And so I feel for them at this moment.
I did have the feeling that we saw Trick going more and more for aggression in duels that we would on different maps. And I think this is a symptom of a team that doesn't really know how to play the map, or not to the best extent of compared to the other map. Because you would see A-Core in a power play situation trying to peek down middle. This is the round you were mentioning when Shush went to the bang. He's peeking a 3 versus 2. Why are you doing this? We wouldn't see Trick doing that on overpass or train. So the cracks were showing definitely, and I agree with Hero. I think we're in for 3 maps.
Yeah, I love this. I love looking at the ForZe scoreboard, and we take Jerry, Flit, Almazer, Face Crack. All 4 players with either 21, 20, or 19 frags apiece. And this hasn't just been an anomaly here on Inferno. No, this has been the story of this entire tournament. ForZe, through and through, have been performing shoulder to shoulder.
Exactly. It's each one of these players consistently setting each other up for success. It's either Face Crack, or it's Flit, or it's Jerry. These 3 members are pressing W. They don't let go of W, and they've got their mates backing them up from behind, and it's really quite nice. Really nice teamwork.
They probably unbinded the S button to go back and back down.
Straight W.
One way forward.
Guys, we got another 30 seconds here before we call it a quit, so I just want some final thoughts. Are we shaky in our Trick predictions going into map 2, or as you said, Mathieu, is it just the fact that this is their lowest win rate map?
No, I'm not afraid for Trick. I think we're still going to a 3rd map, and for the viewers at home, focus on that A side for Vertigo. We have seen Trick put so much pressure on that A side, taking their sweet time, maybe sometimes 30, 40 seconds to get the bomb side, but they will pressure you, and I'm looking forward to see how ForZe can react to that.
Yeah, I'm not shaking either. I think Trick showed us exactly how prepared they are on that Vertigo. I'm hoping that ForZe have an answer, like you said, towards that A site. I hope they bring the fight to Trick. I hope they contest that A ramp and they don't just give it up for free.
Listen, it may be difficult if they do manage to somehow pull this one off. ForZe now 1 map away from lifting their DreamHack Open trophy here in Yongshiping, but I'm not counting them out, and neither are they. Their opponents neck and neck. So we will see you after the break with map 2. It is Vertigo between Trick and ForZe.